you just talk to us about the growth that you've seen with your party in the last few months?
No, I think let's give context first as to
Please do.
The press conference that we had yesterday. So we held a press conference yesterday in Midrand to announce that we are convening a national convention on the 5th to the 7th of December this year in Soweto, so at the University of Johannesburg, Soweto campus. So we will be having delegates from all the 257 municipalities of South Africa, from all the regions, from provinces, from the women, the youth, and student structures, but also representatives of our strategic ally, which is MAUSA, the Mandahashu Workers Union of South Africa, a union that represents EPWP workers. Yeah. So in the interaction, and Okello just made a remark, it was not the major issue in terms of comparison. Right. I was just making a reflection that some of the leaders, most of who played a role in the EFF at its foundational stages, were making a correct observation that the manner in which, from the consultation process of Maibuye to the forming of the organization, the manner in which the organization got to take shape on the ground far exceeds what the former organization which we founded got to gain ground and have presence in all corners of South Africa. So it's a fact that Africa Maibuye movement exists in all corners of South Africa now. There's just finalization in one region in KwaZulu-Natal of Mzinyati region, which involves Msinga, Endumeni, Umvuti, and Mutu municipalities. There's just finalization, and now the provincial leadership of KwaZulu-Natal was finalizing the structures there. And these are structures constituted of credible activists and community leaders with a proper gender and generational balance, meaning that it's not just young people, it's a matured activists who are associating with Africa Maibuye movement. So, and it will be demonstrated when we move forward that in a very short space of time we're able to conjure and put in place a solid organization and machinery on the ground, because the most important thing for any organization is to have presence in all corners of South Africa, particularly if you have the organizational mandate and aspirations which Africa Maibuye carries. Because out of the consultation process that we undertook from the 19th of June, we got a lot of very sound and solid submissions from the people of South Africa as to what should constitute the primary agenda of our movement. And to carry all those mandates and the focus that were given by the people of South Africa, you need an organization that is present in all corners of South Africa. And that is what we are now, that in a very short space of time, we've been able to have presence in all corners of South Africa.
Most certainly. So speaking about some of that which people had put to you in order for there to be changes in South Africa, the Commission of Inquiry into Black Poverty was something that stood out, in which you mentioned. Maybe just talk to us about that. It's certainly not something that has not been done, particularly in South Africa.
Yeah, it has never been done in the new dispensation.
Yes.
So we actually have released a brief policy perspective that outlines what such a commission will seek to achieve and how it should be constituted. We actually give a historical context that when the white-only government was empowering white people, it began by having extensive and expansive organic commissions which involved the people who were affected by poverty. When the Afrikaners were in the same conditions as the majority of the black people, they had a commission called the Carnegie Commission, which got to investigate that. And out of real interaction with the people who were affected by poverty, and a report was then compiled with concrete recommendations, and that led to the abolishment of white poverty in South Africa intergenerationally. in terms of what happened historically. Also, we give example in the document that the Good Hope Conference was a commission-like engagement which later on gave birth to the homeland factories and industrial projects that took place in the Transkei, in Venda, in Ciskei, in Lebowa, in Gazankulu. It was a planned program as to what gets to happen. And then we concretely are now proposing that there has to be a commission of inquiry into black poverty in South Africa, because all other measures and mechanisms that have been adopted since 1994 have not worked. And that is demonstrated by the fact that poverty of black people has never been below 50% in terms of those who are affected directly. You have got people who are jobless, homeless, and even those who have got jobs constitute a component of the working poor. You've got a lot of spaces, actually majority of spaces which are occupied by black people are defined by multi-dimensional poverty levels that demonstrate deprivation. And out of, by the way, the consultation process of Maibuye, we got to realize that our people know what is to be done. They know what are the interventions that have to be done to take them out of the conditions that they're currently in. So you can check in the multiple submissions that we received as to what do we do differently. But in a current state of affairs and governance framework of South Africa, our people do not have a voice. They're only called after every 5 years to go and vote. There's never been a platform where government or public representatives go to listen to people to say, what do we do about your conditions? There's, of course, high-level statistics of Stats SA, which are an aggregated number of the number of people who are poor or affected by poverty directly. But government cannot tell you ward per ward, municipality per municipality, as to what are the needs and what are the localized solutions which the people are proposing should be done. So we are proposing a people-centered commission.
And that would speak to your strategy in terms of how then you put together your leadership structures to be on the ground.
Yes, so that is basically the character of Africa Maibuye movement. That is an organization that says that let the people truly govern, not that you must just vote and then those who have been voted must go and govern in some corner somewhere, and then they come back after 5 years to be given another mandate without the people being involved on the day-to-day solutions as to how do we get to deal with the crisis of poverty in South Africa. It's at the highest level, and it's defined by landlessness, by no proper access to health care, no proper education systems on the ground, dilapidating infrastructure, be it roads and everything else that defines black people. In informal settlements, it's worse. There's nothing that reflects that there's a government in South Africa, because our people just erect shacks there, no sanitation, no roads, no formalization of anything. So there has to be an intense and purposeful focus on the poverty question in South Africa.